Hello everybody, we're going to talk about built or bought. Before I go on a little drive, let's have a conversation. C4. Alright, so here we go. Probably about like 6 years ago, I was on route. I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Snellville, North Atlanta area. So anyway, I'm on route one day and I get basically like a service call for me to have to go up to North Atlanta to the CSX building, or usually the Norfolk Southern. One of their training offices is actually there in one of the taller buildings. So anyway, I go there to the office. I go up to like maybe like the 20 something floor, 20, 30 floor, something like that. And I have to go to an executive office who had a nice pair of like Sparko seats sitting right there on the floor. A couple of the guys were talking about them, and they were just having a conversation about cars or whatever the case. So I didn't engage in the conversation because I had a job to do. I need to be out. So anyway, I got out of there and I was like, man, why is this guy, got these Sparko seats? Like he clearly makes enough money to do whatever the hell he felt like doing. But I said, man, maybe he's just into project cars. Maybe he's in later stages of his life. He's probably got the time to do it. And I thought about it more as the years went on, and I said, man, those seats were probably on the way to a shop where he was probably having a car built or some other car that he was into having built. Because technically, he probably lives in a neighborhood that's probably top tier people in the United States with an office like that working for the company he works for. I mean, he had no real worries that the seats were being taken or going to a dangerous neighborhood. So there was a perfectly good reason of why he had the seats delivered directly to him. So, the build or bought thing is one of the most like argumentative things that you can do. Get a payment, pay for something, have no words of a warranty, or have no payment and kind of work this thing along through the motions as you continue your journey with the car. So, some people like to argue and say, oh man, you're a punk if you just go out and buy something that's already race ready or whatever the case may be. That's argumentative. I would debate that. I would debate that because when you start adding things in your life like time, priorities, maybe you got a kid or two, a wife, you bought a house, it could be your workload is increased at your job, maybe you're taking a recent promotion, things like that. Or maybe you just move into a neighborhood and, hey man, that shell that you got that's been sitting outside your house with motors and multiple cars that you got in your yard, now you got an HOA. So HOA doesn't really allow you to have multiple projects. Homeowner association fees don't allow you to have multiple crazy things in your yard like that. There's kind of like strict contingencies that make it so you basically keep a uniform kind of neighborhood and everybody keeps their proper value up. So that part of it makes it a little bit difficult. So, and who in the world wants to have like motors and unfinished projects and stuff all in your yard? Like that's just, it takes down your property value, whatever the case may be. I wouldn't want to live near somebody like that next door to me, bringing down my property value in case I was to sell my house. So that can be argumentative. And just having a project car in your garage, you're sitting there, you've never heard it run, it's just a bare shell, you can own this thing for 2-3 years, you've never heard it run, you've never heard it drive. To me, it's no difference than a paper clip and a large paperweight. It's just you're making no progression. The only progression you're making in that situation is that all the parts that you order off of Amazon and eBay, is that your FedEx man, y'all start to develop quite the friendship because he gonna be seeing you quite the amount, as much stuff as he is delivering to your house. So I would say that's argumentative. I would have had a totally different opinion years ago because I did have a project car that was my regular car and I did drive it everywhere and it was reliable some days and some days it wasn't. The average person that has a situation where they're going into buying a car that's for a payment, they're probably in between the ages of 30 and 45 because that's usually the ages of when you kind of get serious to where you're getting at a point where you're stable. Really stable in your life, but you have more going on, more moving things going on in your life that require your attention more than a project car would require when you're in between 16 and like 25 years old or something. That transitional period just can be kind of skewed from year to year. But you look at a car like a Camaro, a Focus ST, a Mustang, a 370Z, C6 or C7 Vet, these cars are fairly newer. But these cars are set up with good brakes. You're getting a good rear end, good final drive. Some of them come with racing seats. You can jump right in that, start autocrossing or doing some novice road racing, and be very competitive. You get something like what I have here. I've owned this for 4 years, so it can take a while, man. It was a running car kind of when I got it, but it needed some finessing and it didn't run very well. So it's needing a little bit of a rebuild right now. I'll get into that sometime later. But at the end of the day, like, it takes thousands of dollars to get a car to a level of where you have to do it, where you can just get a car, add some sway bars, maybe some good tires, and a little bit of suspension, maybe some springs or some coilovers or something, and get right out there and start racing where the foundation of the car is more solid. So that kind of, to me, in a busy person's world, is a better thing. It's forking out $4,500 a month. If you have really good insurance and credit, it's fine. People will automatically say, "Oh man, well, good. Anybody with good credit can go out there and buy a car." Now, I'll argue that too, because good credit is something where you look at, if it was so easy to have, everybody would have it. Everybody would have it. So it's just that you can argue that too. Sometimes it just depends on what your lifestyle is. I would have literally argued that years ago, but good credit is something that's hard to maintain, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to maintain it. So I would argue it. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I would just say it depends on a person's lifestyle. I wouldn't always go to a car meet these days and think as I see the rich guy with a car and say that he's less of a car guy than me. The car guy community is one of the most vast, diverse communities you can be in. Like I said, from a top-level executive to a kid that's probably going to bag my groceries at Publix or something. The kid that bags groceries at Publix is driving a Honda Civic. He's got the same amount of love for cars as I do, so I wouldn't dare look down on him. He's just at a different level and a different place in his life at that time. But I probably could sit there and have a conversation with him, car part for car part, and really love what he has going on. So I don't look at a guy that has a 911 or Porsche or Lambo and somebody that has a Chevy Nova or a Honda Civic or Volkswagen GTI and say that they're any less than me. We're all just different. We're all just different. You're in different places in your life. But sometimes that can kind of, be argued, a little bit of an argument. To say, "Oh man, he copped out, man. He ain't bust his knuckles. He didn't lay on the ground like me. He didn't get oil in his mouth. He didn't, this scar I got on my hand, that was because the wrench slipped and I knocked the skin off my hand. I'm attached to this car." Let me tell you something. I could go out here right now, and if I finance the car that I wanted, like if I finance the GT350, you better believe I'm attached to it, because I probably didn't put down $1,000 to have it. I'm paying a payment on it. That car's a forever car for me. So yeah, I would be attached to it. I'd be attached to it just like I'm attached to this. It isn't saying that just because you finance a car, you don't have any attachment to it. And at some point, people believe that because you financed it, that you can just wreck it and get something else. Sure, the insurance company will probably compensate you a little more, but you still would be attached to it because your hard-earned money went to it and you're paying for it every month. And actually, a good, decent project car, by the time you're finished it, you probably, if you got a good swap in it and it's done right and you've done the things that you want to do to it, bought for bought, money for money, at the end of the day when you add up the dollar amount with all the money that you spent, including shop labor and stuff, you're probably going to be somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000 to build the car that you're actually trying to make. And the car that you're actually trying to make, it drives just like a C6 or C7, or it drives just like a Shelby GT350. That's what you want the car to feel like. Trust me, that's what you want the car to feel like. You want your car to feel like a 1LE? Look how much a 1LE costs. That's what you want your car to feel like. That's exactly what you're trying to build. If I took this car to Detroit Speed and said, "Man, do a frame off restoration for me," you better believe I'm probably going to fork out 30 to 40 grand. That's the car that's a GT350. That's what you're trying to build. That's exactly what you're trying to build. So my point is, it just depends on where you're at in your life. An older guy who has less moving parts, who's retired, have been on his job 25 years, and has a pension check, that's why they have older cars, because they don't have anything else to spend their money on. They're older at this point, and they've just reached the points in their life where they're less busy and they have expendable cash at that time. So I really argued the thing. Years ago, I probably would have thought the same thing, but build a board, I really don't think it matters these days. I think that it just really honestly depends on what you have going on in your life and what position you're in at that point, credit-wise and money, expendable money, and kids, and if you're single or you have a garage, maybe you don't. Maybe you got a side point. Maybe you just aren't in that position. So it just depends on what works best for you. Don't listen to none of that crap about people saying if you buy a car, you didn't build it, it isn't yours, you don't have any love in it. That to me is an ignorant way of thinking. And that person may have just not have gotten to that point in your life or where you are. So don't listen to the judgment. And that's pretty much today's discussion before I get out here and try to beat the hell out of Sarah for a little while and come back home. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.